up, we take a look at the progress made by Tzu Chi's first disaster relief and medical team in Nepal. A group of Tzu Chi volunteers from Southern Africa crossed borders into Namibia for the first time to gain a better understanding of the local condition. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Anita Lee. Thank you for joining us. Following their arrival in Nepal, Tzu Chi Foundation's first disaster survey team traveled to different hospitals in Kathmandu to tend to injured quake survivors. During their visit, the team discovered that not many have received proper treatment due to a lack of medical supplies and promised to do what they could to help.
Walking through a bustling street filled with debris left by the strong quake, Tzu Chi volunteers make their way through the crowd to the disaster zone. The volunteers encounter a crowd waiting for water. This little girl says that the water was provided by her father free of charge.
The little girl told me that her father brought all this water. This family is giving out water free of charge.
In spite of the situation, residents remain optimistic and willing to reach out to one another. A quake survivor himself, this man is more concerned about the parents of his daughter-in-law. Upon arriving at the fallen home, one can see rescue workers working tirelessly as they try to find the last missing person of this household.
The man has already lost 2 family members in a tremor. Rescue personnel are still searching for his missing wife.
Tzu Chi volunteers have arrived with much-needed emotional support. Quake survivors return to what's left of their homes to scavenge for useful items. The Tzu Chi Foundation's first disaster survey team also visited a local hospital to check on injured quake survivors. Without enough hospital beds, many are forced to stay in tents outdoor.
Interacting with these patients, I feel that they now have positive impression of us.
The injured patients are very content because they know that people are here to care for them. I'm extremely moved by it all.
Doctors Li Yigong and Wang Jianxing visited those staying in tents to gain a better understanding of the overall condition of the patients here.
This man has a swollen forearm because he hasn't received any proper treatment.
This patient shouldn't be staying in a tent. He needs to be taken care of in a better environment.
The team's first step also arrived at a private hospital. This 4-month pregnant woman was injured by a collapsed house. Thankfully, her baby is safe. However, without enough medical supplies to treat their wounds, patients have no chance but to endure pain and discomfort.
I will send some information back to orthopedic surgeons in Taiwan. Perhaps surgeons in Taiwan will have to come here to conduct the surgery for this woman.
After gaining a better understanding of these patients' needs, Tzu Chi's disaster survey team will pass on the information to Taiwan and arrange for the extra medical supplies to be sent to Nepal as soon as possible.
After arriving in Nepal on Tuesday, Tzu Chi's disaster survey team found that many survivors needed to be treated for fracture. For simple fractures, only casts and splints are needed to reset the bones. However, for the more serious fractures, doctors will have to reset the bones by performing an operation to install orthopedic implants. We learn more from an expert at the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital.
Tzu Chi's first disaster survey team has arrived in Nepal and found that most quake survivors suffer from fractures. But due to lack of adequate medical resources, the success of a full recovery for these patients may not be guaranteed if they don't receive proper treatment in time.
Proper treatment must be delivered within 10 to 14 days because once past this period, the damaged bone is bound to contract. When that happens, the surrounding muscle will also shrink. Thus, when you want to straighten it out later, you have to deal with the tightened muscle.
Fracture means there's a discontinuity in the bone. Minor fracture can be dealt with by setting with casts and splints. However, orthopedic implants are needed when joint displacement is larger than 0.2 centimeters.
The alloys that these implants are made of are a combination of noble metals, so they will be resistant to corrosion and less likely to cause an allergic reaction. We also make sure they will not bring harm to the human body, such as causing cancer.
Depending on the location of the fracture, different types of implants are needed, which can be very costly. A bone screw is about $5 to $10 per unit, while a bone plate is $70 to $100 per unit. For a more serious injury, an intramedullary nail may be required, which will cost $100 to $130 per unit. But the cost of these items is nothing compared to the value of a human life. The situation in Nepal is dire, and the people here need help from all around the world.
Following Saturday's massive 7.8 earthquake in Nepal, foreign aid continues to pour into the country. While there are those working on the front lines to help those affected by this tragedy, people across the world have also been offering their condolences and prayers for the victims, such as the case at the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital in Taiwan.
Holding a lotus lamp close to their hearts, staff members at the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital pray sincerely for those affected by the recent quake in Nepal. Seeing the severity and damage brought by the disaster, medical personnel take the initiatives to donate their love.
Everyone here has a giving heart. Nepal was devastated by the tremor, so everyone thought that they should contribute more.
Doctors at the hospital also form a medical team that will be ready to travel to Nepal to offer their assistance if needed.
We have recruited anesthesiologists, orthopedic surgeons, and trauma unit doctors. All of them are ready to offer their expertise in Nepal.
Dharma Master Ding Hong, who is visiting Taiwan from Hong Kong, says he fully supports the Tzu Chi Foundation and is willing to donate money to the NGO's international mission.
I am truly amazed by the Tzu Chi Foundation. In the wake of the disaster, the volunteers quickly traveled to the disaster zone to help. When others suffer, I grieve. I believe all of us will be truly happy when others are free from suffering.
Seeing the devastation led by the tremor in Nepal, people from all walks of life are contributing their love to help the survivors face the days ahead.
Next, we turn our camera to Malaysia, where two of the Tzu Chi kindergartens in Malaysia extended their prayers for the people of Nepal, while Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital staff held a short service to pray for the Nepalese in this time of need. Before the outpatient clinic opens at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, some 400 hospital staff and volunteers gather before the large Buddha mural in the foyer to pray for survivors of the Nepal earthquake, as well as Tzu Chi's relief and medical team.
When others are hurt, we feel their pain. We pray that those who are injured may soon recover, and that casualties may be reduced to a minimum. As a show of love, we will give our full support to all relief operations going forward.
Hearts ached after seeing the magnitude of the destruction in Nepal played out on the screen. Medical personnel who were unable to physically lend their assistance at Ground Zero offered prayers for the quake victims.
I'm a nurse and my contributions may be limited, but I hope that our sincere prayers will be heard and it may be of some help to the quake victims. I believe they're feeling very helpless during this time. So the hospital organized this event for us to extend our prayers and blessings.
On behalf of all medical staff, doctors hung everyone's blessing cards on the wishing tree in the hope that their prayers may be heard and answered, and that this culmination of love may pave the way for a world free of calamities and disasters. In the aftermath of the catastrophic 7.8 earthquake, love and assistance poured in from the international community, even from as far away as Malaysia. Today, students of DaAi Kindergarten in Malacca are receiving a lesson on compassion and kindness. Writing their blessings and prayers onto a card and donating a portion of their savings to help the victims, students offer their sympathy and support to the people of Nepal.
They experienced a bad earthquake and some people fell into a hole. Their houses fell over and crushed them.
All along, we have been encouraging our children to harbor love and compassion. So this is a great opportunity for them to give of themselves.
Meanwhile, here at Kuala Lumpur DaAi Educate Center, the earthquake also aroused the same awakening in students. In times of crisis, kindness and generosity always bloom. The compassion and kind nature of these students have shown all the beauty of humanity. Days of bad weather in Nepal have hampered rescue operations, and many quake survivors currently living in tents are in desperate need of warm clothing, food and proper shelter. As part of its humanitarian aid for the quake survivors, here in Taiwan, the Tzu Chi Foundation readied boxes of instant rice and blankets alongside other relief items, all of which were sent to Nepal on April 30th. Volunteers at the Tzu Chi Nehu grounds form a human chain, passing box after box of blankets destined for Nepal. Hundreds of volunteers were mobilized at the Tzu Chi Nehu grounds this morning to assist with the loading. All hope these supplies may reach the hands of the quake survivors in Kathmandu as soon as possible.
There was an earthquake and now it is raining there. Now that the temperature have dropped, it's very important for them to keep warm. We're able to assist with relief efforts without having to spend a cent. Just time.
Despite pouring with sweat, everyone remains focused on the task at hand. In just a few days' time, this love from Taiwan and Tzu Chi will find its way into the hands of the Nepalese. Dharma masters of the Jingsi abode and Tzu Chi volunteers work together to package Tzu Chi's instant rice. With no power or water at the quake site, Tzu Chi's instant rice will be instrumental in helping curb hunger.
What they need urgently is food and things to keep them warm. Then, of course, canvases or tents to shield them from the elements. As our number one priority, we have prepared food and warm blankets.
The Tzu Chi Foundation prepared 7 tons of instant rice, 11,230 blankets, and 10 solar charger sets and LED light sets.
The first batch will be dispatched on Thursday afternoon via China Airlines cargo plane. After a transfer in Indonesia, they will be sent directly to Nepal.
Alongside the relief items, 4 boxes of hand sanitizers and 2 boxes of mosquito repellent manufactured by the Jingsi abode have also been sent to the disaster site. The 6th naphtha cracking plant, built and operated by the Formosa Plastics Group in Yunling's Mailiao, is vital to the country's petrochemical industry and the country's GDP. However, what price are we paying for such development? As the truth is that those living around the petrochemical plant are developing cancer at an alarming rate. Here's our report.
Through this silent parade, we hope to give voice to the helplessness that we residents of Puli feel.
On this day, residents of Nantou's Puli have gathered in front of Hongren Junior High. Electing not to operate a motor vehicle but to walk or ride a bicycle, they voice their desire to breathe clean air. Even though it is a beautiful day, the amount of fine particulate matter in the air is nearing dangerous levels.
Puli is a basin, making it difficult for air to circulate. Also, we are close to Taichung's coal power plant, an FPG-6 naphtha cracking plant in Yunlin.
The petrochemical plant of Formosa Plastics also affects the health of those living in Mailiao and Taixi townships. Every morning at 7, elementary school students of Mailiao's Shutuoliao gather in front of the Fuxing Temple.
在这边等什么？
等车。
要去哪里？
桥头国小。
As it turns out, students have to ride a bus to attend Chaotou Elementary, 6 kilometers away. Although Shutuoliao itself has a fully equipped elementary school built by the FPG with a price tag of $2 million, no one wants to go there.
The cracking plant has released way too much pollution, which is making us sick.
The school has been contaminated. We performed health checks on the children and found their health had been affected.
Both the National Health Research Institutes and scholars from the renowned NTU discovered carcinogens in the urine sample of some 80 students from the area.
We have discovered vinyl chloride monomer, which is used in making PVC, in the children's urine. When VCM becomes airborne and enters the human body, its metabolite cothiodicglycolic acid can be tested for in urine.
Professor Jan says all those living around the cracking plant are at risk.
离六轻最近的台西
and Mainao townships are closest to the plant, and the urine of residents there contain heavy metals. So the ratio of adult women there developing cancer is a lot higher than those living 20 to 30 kilometers away.
高的非常多，硫氧化物。
The government standard for sulfur oxides is 200 ppm, but ours is less than 20 ppm. This shows that we are not harming the environment, nor people's health.
Even though Formosa Plastics claims that its plant is safe and the managers of the Taichung coal-fired power plant insist that they are controlling its exhaust, the fact is people are getting sick. Though everything may seem fine through the human eyes, young and old here are slowly being killed off by pollutants. Namibia is the fourth largest exporter of minerals in Africa. However, due to uneven wealth distribution and a high unemployment rate, most of its residents still live in poverty. To gain a better understanding of locals' living conditions and needs, a team of Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa and Lesotho recently traveled to the country's capital, Windhoek. Let's take a look.
To further extend their assistance to the less fortunate, Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa and Lesotho traveled some 1,800 kilometers to Windhoek, the capital of Namibia.
Welcome to Windhoek.
As a result of Namibia's high unemployment rate and wealth inequality, one can see both high-end shopping malls and slums throughout the city of Windhoek. Through the assistance of a local Taiwanese businessman and his wife, the delegation of volunteers are here in Namibia for the first time. Besides visiting a local nursing home, Tzu Chi volunteers also stop by a nearby community to check on living conditions.
The reason we are here because we are one family.
Many residents were amazed upon learning of the purpose of the volunteers' trip.
Going to look after others who are not well. Let's go. Go. This one.
With this visit, volunteers have not only gained a better understanding of the situation here, but also planted seeds of blessings for the future.
To celebrate Mother's Day, Tzu Chi volunteers in Sanchong brought cakes baked by physically challenged young adults, which they later offered to care recipients. Also celebrating this special holiday, a group of students of a Tzu Chi Sign Language class in Danshui took a moment to call their mothers to wish them a very happy Mother's Day. Let's take a look.
母亲节快乐，我爱你。我说母亲节快乐，我爱你。你没有说你爱我。
As the sign language class students called their mothers one by one student was left out.
My mother passed away a long time ago. When they were calling, I wanted to join them, but there is no one for me to call. I felt a bit sad that I could not call my mother and say, "Mom, I love you."
Besides making phone calls, these students were also asked to spend a bit of time holding their mother's hands. In the heartwarming moment of caressing their mother's hands, the students expressed their deep gratitude to their beloved mothers. Turning to Sanchong, Tzu Chi volunteers there carefully package boxes of cakes and cookies. These sweet treats for Tzu Chi's care recipients were baked by some physically challenged young adults.
I appreciate Tzu Chi for buying the cakes and cookies from us, so we can give our trainees more opportunities to learn to bake.
While giving work to the physically challenged, the volunteers also brought care recipients the joy of Mother's Day. Among the care recipients is one who is also physically challenged. The treats and Mother's Day joy warm up the hearts of these families.
He is a good child. He knows Mother's Day is coming up. He cannot say Mother's Day, and he says, "Mom, happy birthday."
By helping both care recipients and the physically challenged, Tzu Chi volunteers bring hope and warmth to those truly in need.
Members of the Tzu Chi Performers Association recently brought joy and laughter to the less fortunate at the Taipei Yangming Home for the Disabled, while dementia patients in a special care program at the Darling Tzu Chi Hospital also had a special opportunity to interact with kindergartners. Here's more.
These dementia patients have come to work hand in hand with the children of Darling Tzu Chi Kindergarten.
Children can do much to cheer up seniors, so we want to create an environment for them to do so. An atmosphere such as this eases their distress and contributes to their sense of well-being.
As they chatted with the children while making gnocchi, smiles came to the faces of these seniors. As children serve tea to the delighted seniors, they have learned how to better respect and care for the elderly. Turning to Taipei, this former singer performed for a special audience off stage. Twelve members of the Tzu Chi Performance Association visited the Taipei City Yangming Home for the Disabled to bring laughter to its residents.
I try to see myself as a child in our interactions. Actually, they very quickly came to feel our care and love for them.
They are very lonely. If I can do something to help cheer them up, I'm more than willing to do so.
Pairing entertainment with love, the performers, today volunteers, have seen how a little care in the right place can work wonders.
The International College of Traditional Chinese Medicine of Vancouver will move into Tzu Chi Canada's premises later this September. The brainchild of this initiative was Lena Ho, Vice President of the college, who became a certified Tzu Chi volunteer last year. Recently, Ho hosted a group of traditional Chinese medicine students from the United States, and apart from furthering their understanding of Chinese medicine, she also took the opportunity to introduce Tzu Chi humanistic medicine. We leave you with these images at the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.